What's up friends, Chook here, and in this video we'll be going over 3 legendary familiars that I would strive to aim for as early as you can. Basically, the sooner you get these guys, the better, as is the way with all things really, but these guys will help you a lot. I got these 3 legendary familiars back when I was level 100 and something, and I'm still using them now at level 200 and almost to level 240. So once you get these guys, they are going to last you quite a while. And the ones we're talking of are, if we go down here, these 3 right here. Bobodom, Korgz, and Wemmbo. Now on the screen, I'll go through each one of them, but on the screen I will put up a little graphic that I made for each one, breaking down what familiars go into fusing each part of the main familiar. So we'll start off with Bobodom. And they all have weird names as well, but you've probably gathered this by now. So with Bobodom, he gives you, he's a tank familiar, he gives you 20% evade chance, and you can see his spells there as well. But the main thing is the evade chance and the high HP. Now he is made from fusing Nosdomdom, again, stupid names, but Nosdomdom, Wemmbo, and Blagnar, however you want to say that. Now, if you took a look at my other videos, you would see that I made a video on early familiars you should be focusing on getting, and that was Shramps and Ballin. Now, Shramps and Ballin are really good early game familiars, and they should last you, you could probably do all the flags in the game with them, if you did it right and were patient and leveled up and all the rest of it. But obviously you want to upgrade. Then I did a video on kind of the next kind of intermediate set of familiars to get, and that was Wemmbo, Quirk, and Squibbo. Now, as you can see here, Wemmbo is part of Bobodom. So if you followed that advice and you made Wemmbo, you're already 1/3 of the way there. Now, granted, you have to find this schematic, and I've had a lot of people asking me recently about schematics, and it still seems to be a topic that people don't fully understand. And the way it works is this. So on the graph, graphic that you can see on the screen of the breakdown, you can see that we'll go through Nosdomdom first. He's made from Nosdudu, which is found in Zone 3, Dungeon 1, and Brom, which is found in Zone 2, Dungeon 3. So the schematic for Nosdomdom will drop in either Zone 3, Dungeon 1, or Zone 2, Dungeon 3, because that's where the familiars that are fused together to make him are found. The Bobodom schematic can also be found in Zone 3, Dungeon 1, Zone 2, Dungeon 3, because Nosdudu and Brom go in to make Nosdomdom, and that therefore they technically go into making Bobodom as well. So you can find Bobodom's schematic in any of the zones above that I'm going to mention. So as I said, Nosdomdom is from Nosdudu and Brom in those zones that we went over. Wemmbo is a Yeti, and which is Zone 2, Dungeon 1, and 3 robot sprockets. Now the robot sprockets can drop from anywhere, apart from I think GVG and PvP and stuff, but as far as I'm aware, they drop just randomly, raids, world bosses, quests, you name it. You've probably got a chance of finding some robot sprockets. So when you finally find 3, and you catch yourself a Yeti, you can forge or fuse yourself a Wemmbo. Now, the only problem with Wemmbo is, as you can see, the robot sprockets can be found anywhere, but that doesn't mean that they're not a familiar, so that won't go towards finding the Wemmbo schematic anywhere. The only place you can find the Wemmbo schematic is in Zone 2, Dungeon 1, where Yeti is. So if you don't have the Wemmbo schematic, that's the place to go. It's the only place you can get it, so farm up Zone 2, Dungeon 1. And then lastly, we have Blagnar or whatever his name is, and he is made from a Blubber and a Ragnar. So Blubber is found in Zone 2, Dungeon 2, and Ragnar is found in Raid 1. So the familiars that are found in the raids, they're much harder to come across and catch. But the Blubber, the Yeti, and the Nosdudu, they're all just bosses from each of those dungeons. So if you can catch yourself a Blubber from Zone 2, Dungeon 2, and catch yourself a Ragnar from Raid 1. You can fuse them together to get a Blagnar or whatever. And again, the Blagnar schematic can be found from Zone 2, Dungeon 2, or Raid 1. Once you have all three of those, Nosdomdom, Wemmbo, and Blagnar, you fuse all of them together to make yourself a Bobodom. And then you have yourself a really good tank, particularly early game, but as I said, I'm still using him in, if we go to Gauntlet here, and we go play, you can see I'm still using Bobodom and Wemmbo. These guys are good. If you can get them as early as you possibly can, you're going to have a great time, trust me. So that's Bobodom. Next, we will go over, so here's the tank. Next, we'll go over Korgz. And Korgz is your DPS option. And if we go to my PvP, we can see that I have a different tank for PvP, but don't worry about that. You can easily put Bobodom in there. But there's Korgz. So Korgz is my DPS option for, my go-to DPS option for PvP, especially if there's only 3 slots. If there's 4 or 5 slots, then I can add in other people, but here's my go-to DPS. So if we have a look at him, we can see that he has 20% dual strike, and that's the reason I like him. I'm a big fan of dual strike. If we go to my actual character, we can see that I've spec'd into it quite heavily. I've got 20%. Now again, I'm free to play and I've only got rare accessory here and a rare pet, whatever, but this accessory fully upgraded is giving me 12% dual strike, and then I've got a bit on my runes as well. And you know, on my pet at the moment, I don't have it. On my old pet, I've got dual strike, but this is a new mount. Sorry, not pet. This is a new mount, and I need to re-roll, and I'm hoping for either damage or dual strike. Damage and rage, not so much. Anyway, dual strike is really good because if it procs, you can one-shot squishies. So if you use Korgz, and you can see there that his third attack, Prismatic Strike, is the one mana move to target whatever enemy you want, and he has quite high attack or power. So if you do that on, like, say their healer and the dual strike procs, you can easily one-shot someone. So it's really good. Anyway, he is made up of Kovor, Quirk, and Pengs. Now again, if you followed my advice in the previous upgraded familiar video, you would know that I said to go for Quirk. And you can see there's kind of a pattern coming here. First one was Wemmbo, I said to get Wemmbo. This one, I said to get Quirk, and Quirk's in here as well. But we'll go through it from the top. So, Kovor is made up from Kovalg, I don't know, and Over. I forget the names, man. And Kovalg can be found in Zone 4, Dungeon 3, and Ovor can be found in Raid 2. So again, the Raid 2, it's a bit harder to get, and it's, you know, if you're farming Raid 2, then you probably have a good chance of getting it. But if you've passed Raid 2, it's kind of a shame to go back and waste Raid shards trying to get it, because, you know, you want to use Raid shards on the current tier that you're up to. But if you want a really strong DPS pet, it's worth it. And again, the Kovor schematic can be found in Zone 4, Dungeon 3, or Raid 2. Next is Quirk. Again, I mentioned get him earlier in an earlier video. He is fused from Quirrell and Gak. So Quirrell is found in Zone 3, Dungeon 3, he's the boss there, and Gak is just a green, really common enemy from Zone 2, Dungeon 2, and you shouldn't have any worries being able to capture him. And again, Quirk can be found, the schematic can be found in Zone 3, Dungeon 3, and Zone 2, Dungeon 2. And last, Pengs. He is made up of Grims and Pengi. Grims is Zone 1, Dungeon 1, the very first dungeon in the game, and Pengi is Zone 2, Dungeon 1. And again, the schematic for him can be found in both of those dungeons. Once you have all three of them, fuse them all together, and you get yourself Korgz, a really, really strong DPS familiar. Now, if you're going tank, you can use him in your gauntlets or whatever. If you're going healer, you could use it. If you're going DPS, I'd recommend not using it because you want a tank and a healer. But if you're either the other two kind of classes, I guess, he's a good option. But for PvP, he's great. He's fantastic. And last but not least, we are taking a look at Wemmbo. the spread heal, great familiar that nearly everybody uses, until you can, obviously upgrade him. But as I mentioned, I'm still using him, and I'm still using Bobodom, and they're great. So he has 200% crit damage, and he has a spread heal for 1 mana. So what that means is that if you go into your trials or your flags or whatever, then when he heals not only himself, but you and the other familiar if taking him with you. And what's really good about, other than healing all 3 people, it's great. What's great about Wemmbo is that 200% crit damage counts on heals as well. So you can get the crit heal go off if he crits, and can do some massive heals. So not only will he heal everybody, but if he gets a crit on those heals, he heals everybody for a lot. So definitely worth getting. Now he is made up of Squibbo, Warfen, and Gem. Squibbo, just like Yobbo and Quirk, he was one of the advanced familiars I said to try and get early on if you could. And he will replace your Ballin as a healer until you can get Wemmbo, of course. So hopefully you already have the Yobbo, the Quirk, and the Squibbo. But if not, you can just go and get him. He's not too bad. So Squib, he's made up of Squib and Tubbo. Squib is found in Raid 1. Again, one of those raid, there's a raid familiar found in all 3 of these schematics. But, it's just the way it goes. Squib is found in Raid 1, and Tubbo is just a blue enemy from a rare enemy from Zone 1, Dungeon 1, very first dungeon. So you can probably get your Tubbo when you're trying to get your Grims to make the Korgz. And again, the Squibbo schematic can be found in Raid 1 or Zone 1, Dungeon 1. Next is Warfen. He's made from Warty and Driffin. So Warty is the boss for Zone 4, Dungeon 2, and Driffin is in Raid 2. So Wembo's a bit annoying because he has 2 raid familiars from 2 different raids as well, but he's worth it. He's definitely worth it. I highly recommend you get Wemmbo as soon as you can. I would probably focus on him first, to be honest. But do whatever you want. This is just my recommendation. And the Warfen schematic, of course, can be found from Zone 4, Dungeon 2, and Raid 2. And then finally we have Gem, who is made up of Jeb and Gem, I guess. So Jeb is the boss for Zone 3, Dungeon 2, and Gem is the boss for Zone 2, Dungeon 3. So grab both of them, and of course the Gem schematic can be found in those dungeons, Zone 3, Dungeon 2, and Zone 2, Dungeon 3. Once you grab all of them, you can fuse all 3 of those together to make yourself Wemmbo, a really good spread healing tank that can crit heal and do some massive heals on your team and bring you back from the brink of death. Really good. So going over it, Bobodom, really good tank. Korgz, really good DPS. Wemmbo, really good healer. I'm still using all 3 of them at level 240 or 239, and I probably will be for some time. So I'm not going to go over what familiars I'm working on. Maybe I'll do that in a different video, but this video is focused on those 3. So that's all the information you could possibly need on those 3 epic legendary familiars and where to farm all of their different familiars that make them up into, and where the schematics are. So just as a reminder, the schematics for any fusion are from any dungeon that the familiars that go into the fusion are found. So that's the best, easiest way I can think of describing where to get schematics from. But I know some people are still confused, so hopefully this video clarifies that a little bit more. Either way, that is it. Let me know if you've made any of these guys, or how close you are to making them, or even if you knew that was the thing to start going for. Just let me know in the comments below what your experience is and how far away you are from getting them, because once you get them, your life in this game will change dramatically. Particularly Bobodom and Wemmbo if you're a DPS, going through trials and gauntlet and flags and stuff. It's going to make your life so much easier. But yeah, let me know. Either way, hopefully you're enjoying it. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.